Yes, yes. Live Hip Hop Daily. You're locked into another segment of the one-on-one space with the coach right here, baby. We usually, y'all know, we usually interview people one-on-one, during this time, right? But this Friday, we're doing a little something different. We're doing a little something special. I actually got two guests in here today, repping the Bronx, and we're going to air it out about a number of different topics. So I'm going to start at my far right. I got my man DivineRBG in the place.
What up, family? What up, worlds? DivineRBG. Blessings to you all.
And then, of course, right next to him, I got the man himself, super producer, Minnesota from Money Boys Player fame. What's good, family?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
We all right, man. So, for people that may be a little unfamiliar, let me lay it down first. Divine, give people a little snapshot, of who you are as an artist and where you've been for, like I said, people that may be unfamiliar.
My name is DivineRBG. I've been around for a long time. I moved with like Dead Prez in the beginning of my career. I went on to do like black and brown music, meaning like bilingual music. I was in a group called The Day.
Okay.
I had a deal with Sony Epic during like 2009, 2006, 2009,
Okay.
and now I'm back doing my solo thing. Just black and brown. Just do what I do.
We see you out there. We see you all over the social media networks, promoting those movements and out, in the community supporting certain causes that have to do with upliftment, that have to do with education. So there's definitely going to be people out there that know you for that, man. Yeah,
real grassroots work. I put in the work teaching the youth, and that's what I do. I just like to work with the young.
There it is. Yeah. And Minnesota, for people that, like I said, may not know, give them a quick snapshot of where you've been and how you got here.
Yeah, well, my name is Minnesota. I started producing in the 90s. I didn't produce for Brand Nubian, Mos Def, Talib, Baby, Scarface, Trick Daddy, Biggie, Pun, Little Kim, Lil Wayne, I don't know.
Official.
You know what I'm saying? But I haven't done it since 2006. But
okay,
I produce. I'm stepping back in 2014. I'm getting back involved.
Okay, boom. So as the show goes on, let us know some of the projects, and what we can expect.
Well, right now it's blank. I'm just getting back in the game. My last projects was like Chappelle, some of his stand-up stuff, Def Poetry for HBO. And I just stepped away from the game.
I need some Minnesota beats, so I'm here. I hope that this interview can make it happen.
We can make that happen.
Now, let's keep it on the music for a second. We were talking behind the scenes. We know that the Grammys are coming up shortly. Right. And we were talking about a time, where in hip hop culture, the Grammys weren't a big target for us. It was actually something that, if you remember, a lot of MCs, a lot of artists actually spoke out against. But obviously, times have changed. Now it seems like the Grammys are as important to hip-hop music in our community as it is to other genres and other communities. And I'll start with you, D. Is there something, that you can speak with about the progression of the music and the culture, good, bad, or ugly, that's brought us to the point where some of these major music events have become, important to us as hip-hop culturalists and artists?
I was fortunate enough to be Grammy nominated with an Afro-Cuban band that I worked with. They called Yerba Buena. The song was Wahida. Again, it was like a bilingual record. And I think that now the awareness of the Grammy come from certain artists that at a time where when Pun maybe said something about the Grammys, it was more about that to let the pop world know that hip hop is coming.
Right.
And since then it's grown, and I feel like you should be Grammy nominated and you should be winning Grammys at this point, because the Grammy board is conscious that your music is getting to their desk or getting to their radar. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're accepting hip hop culture, not too much as far as the culture that we love, but more of the hip hop, the popular part of it.
Right.
And I just feel like the board is ready to take your money, because you got to understand that you got to pay to be, you got to pay the dues, to be in, like, when it gets into the technicalities of what the Grammys and the board is. So there are producers and songwriters that they feel privileged because they might have been paying some dues for the Grammy board to even recognize me. It's just some politics. Right. I really don't care, you know what I'm saying? Right. As far as I would love to win a Grammy, just because I know that it's something that I could sell my kids and was accomplished. When being nominated was enough for me,
Right.
and I understood that I wasn't gonna win one. but just know that hip hop is growing to where it's popular culture now, and you'll be in those circles now. You know, a hip hop artist could get these magazines, the 17 magazines. You know, these elite magazines that will never cover hip hop artists. You know, like the Rolling Stones, they're covering hip hop artists more than ever. Hip hop artists to get a front cover, and that's because it's just popular culture now. You know.
Understood. How you see that, Minnesota?
Well, I feel it's Jay-Z and the money.
Right.
You know, the niggas have more access to money now.
Right.
As to where in the 90s, he's a starving artist was a real starving artist. He was on TV and he was fucking starving.
Right.
You know, people have matured into money. You have a lot of people who come out of the drug game who are rappers now, and their intent was to come in and get paid.
Right.
So it's just money. You know, people have more access to money. And when I say Jay-Z, I like Jay-Z as an artist, and I like what he did for Black America, because I know the people up in Cristal had to be going crazy when their stocks rose 700%, and we can just, you know, assume that it probably was a company that didn't care about niggas drinking champagne.
Right.
You know, so they probably were in their offices like, oh, well, what's going on? They're buying our stuff in every inner city.
Right.
Well, why is this happening? There's some guy named Jay from Brooklyn.
Right.
So you got to factor in 50 states and black people spending money. So, not to get distracted from the Grammy, it's the money culture. It's the money culture. You know, niggas are aware of money now, and they know that the Grammys go hand in hand. When you win a Grammy, you get more money.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Period. So I mean, like you said, man, with the growth of the culture, with the expansion of the culture, that all ties into now. You know, the checks are a little bigger.
Oh yeah.
The money pool's a little bigger.
Right.
There's more at stake. You know, so there is, you know, it makes a lot of sense. But having said that, you know, consider this. Now we also talk about the record industry. Getting smaller, right? The number of major labels getting smaller, the budgets, you know, for recording artists getting smaller, producer budgets getting smaller, et cetera, et cetera. So how do we balance out, you know, hip hop as a music growing, you know, as far as a popular genre, when we all know that behind the scenes at a label, there's a little less monetary investment in the project than there was in the past?
Well, hip hop has went from hip hop to jingle music, and the South got us beat in the clubs. Let's just say that. Right. It's fun. It's candy. It's a chant. It's like jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell. Right. They have us beat. So, it's gonna transcend to that, and it's mutated basically. We can only wait to see where it goes. I'm not Nostradamus.
I always ask that.
But they got us beat, you know. Let's just say that hands down. And a lot of the New York music, a lot of people that were making the music are not really coming up with quote unquote hits like they used to. We had hip hop hits,
right?
Mobb Deep, Shook Ones. That's not really happening no more. So, you know.
Something to consider. D, how you see that balance where on one end, like you said, we're rising in popularity, but on another end, as far as major labels are concerned, you don't really see the investment, you know, the way you used to, let's just say 10 years ago.
I think it's just because the whole independent thing has gotten out of control, where artists feel that they didn't need a major label, and they started taking on responsibility. And they started doing all the labels' work. Like, an artist got to do all that work that they used to do now. Like, everything got to be done. Like, before, you would have a team of people handling your social media content, telling you where you need to exist at, where you need to be at. And now it's to a point where, you know, if you're not up on what's the new slang happening on the new site, and if you're not relevant there, then you're not relevant nowhere. And it's a double-edged sword on a you know, on one note, it's great to be able to be independent, but it's also gonna cost you. You know, And I just feel like if you got the money to be independent, I think more power to you. But if you know how to work with somebody and do business, and you could look at people that came before you that did business in a way that they were successful in, then you can do that. And the downsides and all the transition that music will continue to go through, you'll be able to exist. And that's what I've just been trying to master. You feel me? Like how to exist and make it. Because they make it seem like you need to be a certain age to be successful. Or they make it seem that, you know, that only the youth is really buying into the youth, but we love music, man. We love music in all ages, and all their shows show you that, because you got different people on these musical shows. You got all type of age ranges performing, and people falling in love with these people. So it's just about being genuine with your music and your art, and just be, you know, and music is forever. It's timeless.
It is. It's definitely that. And let me ask you, speaking of music, and like I said, speaking of some of the investment you get from labels, you mentioned, you know, music from other regions. Let's just let's stop at that station for a second. You know, with, like you said, hip hop has expanded. It's been worldwide for years now, but it seems like, in speaking about major labels and how major labels market music, it seems we're doing this round robin thing where it's one region at a time. Obviously, you know, you have the fuse being lit in New York City, you know, 30, 40 years ago, the fuse is lit. You know, major labels start getting involved, and there's some investment in other regions. We see what's going on the West Coast, which became legendary, frankly. And then at a certain point in the 90s, you have artists like Nelly who kind of break the bank with what they're doing and, you know, highlight the Midwest. Do you see any rhyme or reason to that as to why it seemed like a region is highlighted or rocks at a time and not all at the same time? Like, you know, now we say the South is rocking. Why didn't the South rock when NY was rocking, or while the West Coast was rocking? Is it on purpose that only one region gets light at a time, or is that by accident?
As far as like region, let's just break it down. Before, and this is just in a time that we in 2014. Before, local music didn't leave the region, or they didn't leave their community. So whatever was happening in the Midwest kind of didn't translate over into, like, you know, the East or into the West, or to, you know, but now we've gotten to a point where you could turn on your phone, you could be like, yo, I don't listen to people from here, I listen to this dude, and he lives in a back road in Tallahassee. You know what I'm saying? And he only got 10 fans, and I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying? And now it's just people, you know, I think that ain't really no boxes no more like they want to say. I think that people just limited on the things that they choose to listen to. They be like, oh, I only mess with this. I only rock this. I only wear this, you know. And they not colorful. They not saying, yo, I listen to Fela Kuti, I listen to Daft Punk, I listen to, you know, I got the new Snoopzilla and Damn album. Like, you know, like, they just not, there's no variety as far as, like, where people be like, yo, I just like different stuff. Like, I do a juvenile work. I'm working with these young girls in a juvenile facility, right? And I asked one of the girls, she was like, I spit, and I was like, who's your favorite MC? And she was like, P. And I was bugging out that she said P, because she's 15 years old, and she told me that she like P. Now, on a business level, I'm like, P must be doing his thing, because this young girl is like, you know, I like P. But then I was like, she was like, I just like people that spit real. And I know that and his music has been consistent about being from a certain particular feeling. And I think that and that's what I'm trying to say, that, you know, you at a time where anybody could be really loving just you and want to listen to just you and want content from just you. I'm pretty sure there's people that run up on Minnesota be like, yo, I listen to niggas beats, but I need, you know, I hear this dude jacking your, I heard your drums over here, G. Nigga, yo, I know that you like to rock this like this. So I think that, you know, once the people that's just been watching the game come back out, and there's a lot of people like that. I know just so many talented producers and MCs that's just watching the game from home. You know what I'm saying? And when the big event is ready to happen, we all ready to come out and be like, I guess they went to hip hop is totally fucked up. So then they'll be like, yo, you know what? You know, because it's that bad that a lot of the OGs is like, yo, this is really bad. Like, I remember accepting something.
Hold that thought right there.
My bad, man.
Don't worry about that. We're going to jump to a break real quick.